Do what you know in your heart is the right thing to do, and you will know the next right step in your path, in your journey to joy. Hello, and welcome to Resetting Your Life. My name is Ned Lips. Last time we talked about following your heart, but in a different way than the movies talk about it. The storm has taken everything from the face of the earth, and this is a quote from Reset, and Sarah must find her girls.
One mission, she told herself, then I'll help, driving herself forward. She crossed raging creeks and outcroppings of growing trees, following the guidance of the spirits as her mother and Asha had taught her. She was tiring. The run was difficult, and as the plants grew, even with the power of the elephant, it was hard to maintain her pace. She needed help. Reach to the spirits for help, Sarah, came Asha's voice from within, from somewhere. Sarah closed her eyes and let go, allowing herself to feel the spirits in nature all around her. Feeling a pull northwest, she opened her eyes and obeyed. Her soul was her guide. She felt connected to this world as though she were a part of all of it, this ravenous return of nature. For the first time in a long time, she was free of the nightmare that had been her life. This was the sort of reset she and her girls could handle, but her brain fought against her. Am I really part of this? Did I cause it? Is this still an insane dream? Am I in some weird dimension? Are my girls even here?
The storm has taken everything man made from the earth. Sarah can only hope that her daughters stayed at their school. She relies on her connection to the universe of spirits, her concept of God, to guide her, bring her into the path where she needs to be, and it works. She finds her children. She trusts, and she does. In first steps, Sarah is running with her two girls from their abusive father, her abusive husband. She's trying to comfort her oldest as they've gone on out to a retreat, if you will, into the wilderness to spend some time together before they feel like they have to run from him.
She knelt in front of her daughter. Honey, it's going to be okay. Trust me. It's going to all turn out to be the best thing we've ever done. You know the simple rule of life, right? Do what you know in your heart is the right thing to do, and you will stay in harmony with all of the souls in the universe. Right. I haven't been doing that for the last few years, for all the man-made rationalist reasons that I've tried to teach you to ignore. A while back, I decided that the universe is my guide. On Thursday, it guided me to end it with your father. I'll choose to listen to and follow the spirits of the universe, the souls of all who live and have lived, and connect with the spiritual internet that binds us all. Today was a good step, Mom. I'm going to do that too, from now on.
So even Sarah, like me, who's understood this concept for so long, has allowed her mind, her adoptive family, and others to guide her. Often this is a battle between what your mind thinks you should do and what your heart knows you should do. Sarah felt trapped in her abusive relationship and is now determined to escape that relationship in this scene, which she knows is the right thing to do for her and her girls. She will lose Robert's money. She will lose the big house. She will lose Robert's family, who she loves, and is the only family her daughters have ever known. And they will have to start completely over. That's scary, but she knows getting away from this abusive situation is the right thing for her to do. Following your heart is more of a small picture concept than that big concept idea that we often hear of it. It is both, but you know in your heart, in your soul, that part of you that is connected to God, however you define God, you always know in that part of you what is the right next thing for you to do. You may not know the big picture. You may have a vision for what you want that big picture to look like, but you follow the steps along the journey that will guide you along the path that is right for you. And it is the path that you feel is right for you, but not the path that everyone else thinks is right for you. Others will throw doubt at you. This voice, however, that you hear in your head is God, again, however you understand her, guiding you, speaking to you, helping you along your journey. Just relax and follow the path she is laying out for you. You will know it is the right path for you. Well, I'm really excited today to have our first guest of my podcast season. So with me today is Sarah Campbell. So she's that voice you hear whenever we cut to excerpts from either First Steps or Reset. Reset is currently out on Audible. You can get it through Amazon or your Audible app or a whole bunch of other wherever you can find Audible books. And she is currently in the process of producing the Audible for First Steps. So what you've heard so far today is brand new stuff that you can't get online yet, but we're very excited. So Sarah, it's very exciting that actually the woman, after we interviewed a number of people, is actually named Sarah, who's doing Sarah in the book, which is very exciting. So Sarah is an actress and a comedian and a comic writer and a bunch of stuff like that. So we're going to talk a little bit about what she's up to and what is her joy and what are her superpowers, etc. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing, what you've done, and what you really, really love to do, what you find is your passion.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think if you're a creative person, you already wear so many hats. I had a passion for acting since age 10 when I did community theater. And I went to college for it. Actually, I earned my BFA from Millikan. Shout out to Millikan University, Central Illinois. Go Big Blue. Graduated. It was 2007. It was the summer of 2007. And broke, millennial, so I moved back in. And shortly after that, the recession hit. So I'm sitting there. I can't really get cast. I'm not really making any money. And I just sort of thought to myself, there's got to be more out there than this. Happened to meet an acting coach who was based in Los Angeles at an event. And he just kind of said, you know, you're really funny. You do great work. You should move to LA and work with me. And, you know, you're 22, 23, and you just need like somebody to say it. So he put a little bug in my ear. And I remember taking my parents out to dinner at the Cheesecake Factory and just telling them, so I'm moving out of your house into an apartment that I don't have yet in a city that I've never been to. And
I don't have a job.
And I don't have a job. I actually kind of lied to get my first apartment.
How did that conversation go? Because you're trying to follow your dream, but usually that's not everybody else's dream for you.
I think my mother almost choked on her cheesecake. My father was a little bit more supportive in the moment. I think he said, you know, I'm screaming, I'm really nervous about this, but I know you have to do it. And, you know, later on, Mom came around. But of the 3 children in my family, I've always been the more adventurous. So if one of us was going to go, it was going to be me. And I packed up a truck and got out a map. It was the recession, so I negotiated a great deal on my Penske. But yeah, I just moved out and had to figure out what the hell I was doing after that. So I don't regret it for a second. It was great.
So you went out there, and how did that go? Did you get some jobs? And did you find or refine kind of your joy and what you really wanted to do and what your superpowers are while you were out there and getting millions, making billions of dollars, probably, right?
So not quite there yet.
Yeah, all right. I'm with you.
You know what? I had learned so much in college that was great, but I didn't really learn the depth of the industry and the business side of it. So happily, I had plenty of time to learn about all of that. And I just started making connections, self-submitting, whatever I could really do to just get any kind of exposure, get any kind of job. The same coach that I met, that I was working with, was the first person to say, you need to try stand-up comedy. You need to find your voice. You have some kind of gift inside of you, but it hasn't been tapped yet. And so I just thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to do stand-up comedy. I'm funny. I'm good at parties, you know. And, it sucked so hard for so long. You know, I think a lot of people, it's like writing a book. They say, I'll write a book, and they don't realize what they're actually saying. Right, and I thought that about stand-up, too. So the first year was just the discipline of getting back and going and hitting the open mics, even when you're bombing over and over and over again, until you finally start learning about what works and what makes people laugh.
Right.
And that was when I felt like, okay, I'm free. I'm more free now to explore this because my ego's out of it.
Right.
I can just do the work. And that's when I started, I got a manager at Showcase that way. I did a sketch with Daniel Tosh on Tosh.0. I just started to make some waves with it, which was cool. So.
Then you screwed up and met a guy.
Yeah. So, so I met my husband, who's from California. I met him out there. Uh-huh. He was my headshot photographer's brother, believe it or not.
All
so
right.
small
totally
world.
Believe that.
And so we started dating, and that was just cool because dating in LA is I just could never recommend that to anyone in good conscience. So met him, we got married, and my husband just kind of sat me down and said, so we want to be homeowners and we want to save for retirement because one day we want to retire, and there's no way that's ever going to happen if we can't afford literally any kind of crack house out here. So we have to make a decision. We have to move back to St. Louis. And I didn't really want to. I loved LA.
Right. So this happens to a lot of people. There's times, windows in your life where you have an opportunity to really just do anything you want to and follow your joy. But sometimes you find an opportunity and that person who you love guides you off your path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he brought you back here. You came back here, you're kind of now out of your element. Mm-hmm. But you've still continued to follow your dream. So tell us, well, it's a little bit harder here because you're not in market, but tell us how that's still trying to be happen for you. And
here's what I have observed about living authentically. And that is, it doesn't matter really where you are. Mm-hmm. The person that is inside of you will always be inside of you. Right. It doesn't matter how many likes or follows or fans you have truly. It just matters that you keep that fire lit in yourself. So for me, that could be anything from, I walk into a Trader Joe's and the cashier is having a bad day. The little voice inside of me goes, you find a way to make them laugh.
Right.
And is that the same dream that I envisioned as a 23-year-old? Perhaps not, but it's still living out the dream in small bits and pieces.
Is your dream still alive? That big dream you had when you were 23? Or have you kind of adjusted what you know in your heart is really the right path for you?
Yeah, good question. The dream is the same with edits.
Yeah, right.
So, maybe as a younger person in a more ignorant space, I would have thought, I'm going to hit the ground. I'm going to get this big budget feature. It's going to be great. Well, I've honed that now to be closer to what I actually want, which is to be in entertainment, to create my own work, which I do. And again, we're in this age now where you can have your own YouTube channel. You could have your own Twitter feed. You could have so many ways to put yourself out there, and it's still authentic and it's still living out the dream. I will be doing this until I'm an old woman. So I'll never not be an actor or a comedian or a presenter, motivational speaker, which I've done for youth. I'll never not be those things. It'll just be in what capacity or what quantity will I.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Appreciate very much you having coming on my show. Of course, now I have my YouTube channel, and I'm sure we'll see Sarah Campbell in something wild and exciting in the near future, and she's continuing to follow her dream. I'm really thankful that she is the voice of the Reset series for my books, First Steps and Reset, and the new book Entwined, which is coming out on November 14th. Sarah, how can people find you?
Oh boy. Well, follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot at Curly Hair Comedy. And you can also hit me on Instagram. I'm on the gram as SoCal Sarah, just SoCal SERA. So I'll be there.
S-E-R-A.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Serra, like
Que sera.
SoCal it will be. Yeah.
There you go. All right, good. Thank you very much for listening to the show this week. We really appreciate it. Please consider joining the podcast and share it with all your friends and tell everybody. You can certainly find my Facebook page at nedlips-author. I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and I don't know what else, LinkedIn. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.